Hi, beautiful people. Good morning. I hope that y'all having a good day. I'm going to get right into it. We're going to talk about Donald Trump and Mar-a-Lago. I hope that y'all having a good day, okay? Everything I share is for educational purposes, just for us to talk about it. Hey, Chakra King. Wait, you guys can't, oops. You guys can't see my video? Hang on, you guys. Sorry, I don't know what the heck. Let me try again. Hold on. I don't know what the heck. You guys couldn't see anything? Wait a minute. All right, you guys. I'm so sorry. Let me try that again. Why aren't you on camera, James? I don't know what's going on with my StreamYard. I'll get it fixed, but I'll come on camera after. Okay. Let me get into this video for you guys. And double tap the screen. Like my video right here. Hi, Lionel. All right. Let me try this again. I'm sorry. Sorry.
If we didn't win the election, our nation would right now be destroyed. But under the Trump administration, joined by heartbroken Americans who have lost parents, siblings, children, grandchildren, and treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration led in by the past administration. Millions and millions of people from jails, millions and millions of people from countries that we don't want to know about. Drug dealers, murderers, 11,888 murderers were allowed into our country. by the Biden administration. These are the angel families that we love, that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored, and I've seen it. When I first got involved with the angel families, I had a meeting, it was so sad. And they got up and spoke, and the media literally just turned off the cameras. They didn't want to hear them. It was my first glimpse as to what was happening. These are sick people that cover stories like that, or that don't cover them, which is worse. Everyone in this room not only suffered an infinite loss, they were the victims of politicians who put the comfort of foreign criminals before the safety of American citizens and American patriots. Their stories were censored and suppressed like maybe almost never before, so that the politicians could open our borders and allow our nation to be invaded. If we didn't win the election, our nation would right now be destroyed. But under the Trump administration, their suffering is forgotten no longer. In just a few moments, I officially sign a proclamation that I've been waiting to sign for a long time, including my first administration. There were so many different legal roadblocks, it was incredible. We got it done, and I'm doing it today. February 22nd is going to be National Angel Family Day. Very important. So many incredible family members and friends, parents and children. On February 22nd, 2 years ago, a brilliant 22-year-old nursing student named Laken Hope Riley went out for a run on a college campus in Georgia. Laken was viciously attacked, brutally beaten and murdered by an illegal alien gang member who the last administration heartlessly released into our country. No problems. Let them in. They let in everybody. They didn't check anybody. They let in everybody. Among the first bills I signed into law after taking office last year was the Laken Riley Act. I'm so proud of it. To ensure illegal alien criminals are rapidly removed from the United States of America. That's okay with the media. That bill has already been really playing a big role in the life of our country. It's resulted in over 21,000 illegal alien arrests, 21,000. We're joined this morning by Laken's parents, who I have gotten to know. These are incredible people. And I want to ask Laken's mother, Allison, to please come forward and say a few words, please.
Well, this is unexpected, but I think that a lot of people feel like that President Trump is maybe different than the version that I've gotten to know. And I just can't thank you enough. You have said from the beginning, literally the day after this happened, that you would not forget about Laken. You weren't president at that time, and you have not forgotten. You have fought a fight that most people would not want to have to fight. Most people wouldn't. They would just say it's just easier not to do this. And President Trump you are doing a thankless job that most people just wouldn't do. And I just can't thank you enough. There are just not enough words to say. Because if you lived the nightmare that we have lived, you understand the importance of the job that he's doing and securing our nation and fighting for our families. Because this could be any family. This happened to my family. This could be any one of your families. And Laken was the most responsible, hardworking, kind, selfless, beautiful Christian. And she wasn't somebody that put herself in bad positions. She didn't make bad choices. She was just a good girl. And she just wanted to go for a run that morning after she'd gotten up at 4 o'clock the morning before to decorate her roommate's door for her birthday. And she did everything for everyone else. She expected nothing in return. She just wanted to be a good friend and a good sister and a good daughter and a hardworking nurse. She was working so hard for. And I'm beyond blessed and thankful that you're honoring not just Lakin, because she's one in a ton of people that have suffered at the hands of illegal immigrants. She's not the only one. And so thank you for honoring all of them, not just Lakin. And we're just beyond grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Amazing, Allison. You have to go through this. Doesn't get that much easier, does it? Right? Even with time. It's been a while now and it doesn't get that much easier. But I want to thank you for your incredible courage. We're all courageous in a sense. Everybody in this room is courageous. And we're willing to tell the story. And that, I don't know why the news doesn't want to hear it. The Democrats don't want to hear it. The radical left, they don't want to hear it. What's not to hear? We want to stop murderers and criminals from coming into our country. I watched the mayor of Minneapolis. I watched these people saying, we want to protect murderers. I don't get it. Something's sick. They're sick. Can't have a country like that. So we appreciate the bravery of everybody in this room, actually. And Christy, I want to thank you, and I want to thank Tom in particular for, we have a border that's 100% closed now. 100%. So Lakin's story is even more tragic because her death was completely preventable. It shouldn't have happened. Guy should never have been here. Not only should her killer not have been released into our country in the first place, but he was released a second time after being arrested in New York City. Here today is a great gentleman, the police officer who arrested that illegal alien, only to watch him be set free to kill. I mean, he was arrested and they let him go free. They knew he was trouble, big trouble. Many of them are like that. They release him knowing he's going to kill again, but they released him and set him free to kill Lakin. So I'd like to have Ethan Guerreri come up, please. He's a great, highly respected police officer, and you can explain what happened. Come on up. Thank you.
Mr. President, it's an honor to be here today, and it's an honor to be speaking with you guys. My name is Ethan Guerreri. I'm a police officer in Palm Beach County, Florida, and a former New York City police officer. While serving the New York City Police Department, I personally arrested Jose Ibarra for endangering the welfare of a child. A few months later, I saw his face again in the news after he viciously murdered Lakin Riley. I did my job. I put him in custody. The system failed. No detainer, no accountability, no deportation, and an innocent American life was taken. If you enter our country illegally, there will be consequences under this administration. The American citizens must always come first. To Lakin Riley's family, your loss should have never happened. We owe it to you and every American family to enforce our laws, secure our border, and protect innocent lives. Mr. President, thank you so much for having me here today, and thank you for all you've done for our country. Thank you.
come to Florida. In a way, it's too bad, right? Couldn't take it anymore. They don't let you do your job. But thank you very much, Nathan. It's great, highly respected person. Have to do a little checking before I introduce people, otherwise I get in trouble. Sometimes I introduce people and they say, sure, do you know this or that? But you checked out very, very well. Wow. Stories like Lincoln's are one more reason why my administration will do everything in our power to end the scourge of sanctuary cities once and for all. They protect criminals. Why do people fight? They protect criminals with a vengeance. They fight for these criminals like murders. They're protecting murders. They fight for them so hard. There's something wrong with them. We're joined today by so many angel families who are grieving the terrible loss. They've gone through hell. Steve Ronnebeck was the father of 21-year-old Grant Ronnebeck, a beautiful guy who was shot and murdered by an illegal alien while he was working behind the counter of a convenience store in Arizona. He was working behind the counter. Steve, would you please come forward? We'll talk about your boy.
You know, I spent some time with President Trump in his first election. President Trump talked about Grant even before he was elected in 2016. And finally, we had hope. We had hope that it was going to end. I was just talking to Secretary Noem that we all sat around the table one day during one of our visits to Washington. And again, the word preventable came up. All these deaths at the hands of illegal immigrants are preventable. They could have been stopped. We could have done so much more. Unfortunately, at the hands of an election that we questioned, somebody took their foot off the brakes, put their foot on the accelerator to let these people into our country. And it wasn't just regular people, it was criminals, it was murderers, killers, rapists. And now today, we are finally going to see that somebody's going to remember all of our loved ones. They're going to remember the names, and they're going to remember what we've all been through. Thank you, Mr. President.
And think of it, I'm not talking politics, I'm just talking life. In that election, it wasn't rigged, it was a rigged election by millions and millions of votes. The guy that never left his basement was all run by crooked people. And COVID was a little bit of a shield. We had a lot of things going on. But it was rigged by millions of votes. We did great in that election. If that election wasn't rigged, every single one of the people in this room right now would not be here. You'd be home with your son, daughter, family. We had a strong border. You know, we solved it twice, Tom. We solved it in 2016. The border was bad. Nothing like it was this time. It was like beautiful compared to this time. This was legendary. In the history of the world, there's never been a border like this when millions of people poured in. At least 25 million people. And many of them were the wrong people. Many. You know, when countries fill up the caravans, they don't fill them up with their finest. I wouldn't. And I would do exactly what they did if the United States would be willing to take all of our criminals and people, or people that don't work. But they are smart people. I got to know most of those leaders. I know them. I said, what are you doing? They said, look, it was a totally open border. They saved hundreds of millions of dollars. They gave it to us, and we've done a great job. Tom Home, Christine, our people have been incredible, the job they've done. And they take nothing but abuse, but you know, they're sort of pretty hardened to that, I think, because they know they're doing the right thing. It just amazes me that there's not more support out there. It's just, We actually have a silent support. I think it's silent. That's how I won. I got probably 85 million votes. They say 78 million, 79 million. They cheated in this election too. It was just too big to rig. Too big to rig. But they cheated like hell. They can't win on policy. Men and women's sports. We have a new one though. Voter ID. I think that's as crazy as they won't approve voter ID. They won't approve proof of citizenship. They won't approve no mail-in ballots, even though they know it's crooked as hell. Where the ballots are sent to, in many cases, Democrats. Republicans don't get theirs and they're calling frantically to get their ballot. A Democrat will get 3, 4, 5, 6, and even 7 ballots. And then we're supposed to win. That's what they're good at. They're professional. Cheaters. But we wouldn't be here right now. I'm just thinking as we're going through it, because we've suffered through it together. I suffer for the country. I mean, it's the people I've gotten to know, the mothers and fathers, mostly mothers and fathers. Husbands in some cases, wives in some cases, but mostly mothers and fathers, what they have to go through. Also with us is Marie Vega, the mother of Javier Vega Jr., the retired U.S. Marine and Border Patrol agent, so respected, who was murdered in front of his family by 2 illegal aliens, bad ones, really bad ones. People you could look at them and you could say, trouble. Trying to steal his family's trucks. He wanted to take everything the family had, but the trucks in particular. Marie, please come forward. Thank you.
President Trump, on behalf of my family and I, thank you for hosting this beautiful remembrance in honor of our loved ones who were killed by illegal aliens. As you said, August the 3rd, 2014, my husband Javier, my son, Marine and Border Patrol agent Javier Harvey Vega, his wife, 2 of his sons and a friend, and I were fishing in Santa Monica, Texas. Within minutes of settling in, we were ambushed by 2 illegal aliens with many priors. Without warning, they jumped out of their stolen vehicle with guns that were not supposed to be in their possession in an attempt to steal 2 4-wheel drive vehicles. While trying to defend us, Harvey was shot in the chest and killed. My husband, Javier Sr., was shot in the back. Remember, y'all, children were there fishing with their friends, and they just kept shooting. You could hear the bullets just whizzing past you. Javier Sr. returned fire with his weapon, and I grabbed the AR that Harvey had attempted to defend us with, and I returned fire as well. Had we not fired back, they would have killed everyone there, including the children, so that there wouldn't be any witnesses. And they killed an amazing man, a loving and honorable dad and husband. Thank God we have you in office. Without you, America and the world would not know the consequences of open borders. Thank you for restoring law and order. Thank you for acknowledging us, the angel families. Every day I think of you and the heavy weight of a nation that you carry with you. I can't imagine what it must be like to wake up every morning, work so diligently amid attacks and resistance from the left, to deal with the craziness, the fraud, and the swamp. But you get it done day in and day out, all while finding solutions to making America great again. You absolutely amaze me. Please know that we see it, and we, the masses, your constituents, are behind you 100%. When you were elected the first time, for the first term, as president, I remember saying to my boss, this is exactly what this country needed, a businessman. You did an outstanding job then. And although you were cheated out of the second term, by the way, you won that election as well. And we know it. I knew the third term was going to be epic. And here we are, mega. Before I end this, I have to share a sweet story with you about my daddy. He absolutely hated the way people treated you and attacked you. On your third run for office, he said to me, mijita, which means my little daughter in Spanish, can you check to see if I'm up to date and still registered to vote? We need to make sure President Trump gets into office. I said, of course, Daddy. And I did, and I checked, and he was registered to vote. We lost a great man, April the 3rd of 2025, and that would be my dad. Again, thank you for everything. Thank you for backing Border Patrol and ICE and backing these families. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. You know, I was thinking as you were saying that running again for a third time after having gone through what we went through the second time, which was so horrible. So much cheating, so much deception, viciousness, and you could see what they were going to do. And I'm here now, and it's a much more powerful term than my second term would be. And much more powerful. And one of the reasons is everybody sees how bad they were. And I had to go through, and I still do, fake stories, fake polls. And I had polls for the election that showed I was going to get swamped, and I won in a landslide. They were fake polls because polls are tough. You know, when you get a fake poll, I get them today. I saw one today that I'm at 40%. 40%. I'm not at 40%. I'm at much higher than that. I mean, I'd love to run against anybody. The real polls say you kill everybody, it wouldn't even be close. But you go through the fake polls, you go through the fake stories. And I said, you know, it was good because this is really a much more powerful term than I would have had if I had run, because it was just one of those things. There would be nothing to compare it to. And now they compare it to Biden and that horrible, horrible administration. And I mean it, it is more powerful. Our military is much more powerful. We rebuilt it mostly in the first term. Then they gave away a chunk of it. And as much as it was, it's very small relatively, Tom. But we gave it to the Taliban. Just walked out. We could have taken it with us. They said, oh, I think it's cheaper to leave the planes. Just put a little jet fuel and fly it to a neighbor or fly it right home. Sir, I think it's cheaper. I think we'll save money by leaving a $150 million jet on the runway. These people are crazy. But I said, and I've said to a lot of people, it's much better what happened, but not for you people, it's not. And then I go back and say, but I wish it didn't, because every one of your loved ones would be alive today. Everyone in this room, I think, maybe there's one where could have sneaked through during our term, but I don't think so. We had a very tough border. We had we solved it in 2016, and we had a very strong border. I would say nothing is as strong as what we have now, but we had a very strong border. We had a good border. We had a sane border. It was sane. And I say, I like this much better, much more respect. You know, you read about all these crazy shooters, but they only go after consequential presidents. They don't go after non-consequential presidents, you know. If you take a look, Abraham Lincoln, some big one. John Kennedy, in a certain way, was very consequential. He represented something very important. He was there for 1,000 days, as you know, the book, 1,000 days, but he was consequential. There was a glamour, there was something good for our country, right? But they consequential, and I was told that, I saw that the other day, they said they only go after consequential. So maybe I want to be a little bit less consequential. Can we hold it back a little bit, please, Tom? Can we just, like, nice and easy? Let's be a normal president for a little while. Because we had the greatest first term, I think, of any president in history. A lot of people have said that. Even radical left people have said that. And so it's, but the one problem is that, and every time I say it, I go back to the one thing I said, but we wouldn't have had 25 million people allowed to come into our country, totally unchecked, totally unvetted. And those are the people that destroyed your lives. They destroyed your lives. They wouldn't be there. So I always say, I like it better, but there's one thing I don't like better, and that's what they did. Because I think that's the single biggest problem. He gave us inflation, highest inflation we've ever had. I solved that. Right now, inflation's at a very low number. How about gasoline? I was in Iowa, $1.85 a gallon. I solved that. I did a great job with that. Prices are coming way down, and I'll get them down further. But, Christ, no matter. By the way, if I came up with a cure for cancer, they would say, he should have done it years ago. There's not a thing I can do where these people are going to give me credit, and that's okay because we won in a landslide, so the people understand. People understand. But the one thing that I regret about the election and the process, because it's a much bigger, more important, you look at what we're doing throughout the world, we're respected like we've never been before. But the one thing that I can't do anything about is that he allowed 25 million people, many of these murderers, drug lords, criminals, people from mental institutions. They emptied their mental institutions, Tom, is that right? All over the world, not just in South America. They emptied their jails, many of them from all over the world. Why? Why would we do this? And they walk in, nobody even asked for, do you have an identification? Do you have an ID? It's so crazy. The mayor of New York, and he's a very nice person. I met him, but his ideology is not too good. But we're having a massive snowstorm right now. And I heard that he's asked people to come out and help shovel the snow. Okay, so you get a shovel and you start shoveling, right? What the hell, you're not gonna help too much, but you can help. And hello, darling, how are you? Noah, right behind you, look, my friend, right? Are you okay? Yes, you. Are you okay? Are you okay?
I'm doing very well. I just
Good.
want to give you a hug when this is all
Good. Are your eyes okay?
Wednesday. They,
I gave her money to get her eyes fixed. A lot of money to get her eyes fixed. That doctor ripped me off, but that's okay. And when do you go?
Wednesday, I go for surgery. It was postponed because they said the grief caused me to have 2 heart attacks.
Well, you get them done. It's an operation, but it's 100%. It's great.
It's Wednesday.
Good. You're gonna have 20/20 vision. She's almost blind, cataracts. She's almost blind, and with one operation that'll take a very short period of time. Hope you have a good doctor.
I also
He's an expensive doctor, top of the line, right? But you know what? You're gonna have 20/20 vision. Because I noticed you're wearing glasses. I saw you yesterday on television wearing glasses, and I said, wow. But anyway, speaking of your family, it would be a lot different right now, except for the election. So I always say, it's too bad that happened. And if I had it to do again, it's despite the tremendous job we're doing now, I wish it could have been the other way, because we wouldn't even be having this meeting right now. There'd be nobody. I wouldn't have gotten to know you. But it's gotten to know you under very bad circumstances, right? The worst circumstances. So one of those things. But the thing I can't understand is why the press isn't more supportive. They're so dishonest. The stories, the polls, they poll you, they say, oh, the angel moms. I think the angel moms are the finest people I've met. I mean, the angel moms and families and dads, but these are unbelievable people. Why are they so angry with angel moms? They had their child killed. Stories that are so horrible, I'm not going to mention. A couple of people are in the room. What they did with the child after they murdered the child. It's not even, and these people are actually on the side of the criminal. I don't get it, Tom. Someday you're going to explain it to me, but I don't think you can. It's crazy. Laura Wilkerson is another American mom whose 18-year-old son, Joshua was horribly beaten, tortured, and murdered by an illegal alien who went totally crazy. and just went to school. And I'd like to ask Laura to come up and say a few words about Joshua. Please. Hi. One of my original friends.
Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Laura Wilkerson, and I want to thank everybody for their help in gathering us here, the American Border Story and the White House, and all of your helpers. I thank you for that. I met a man about 11 years ago who was running for office, and he sat with us a couple of days, and he watched as the tears rolled down my face as I told him the story of how our youngest son Joshua was brutally beaten, tortured, strangled to death, and his body set on fire. The man next to me was President Trump. He never, ever looked away from my pain. He looked me straight in the eye and he said, "I will never forget the story of your sweet son, and I will never give up fighting for the American family." I looked at him and I believed him. And here we are these years later, and you can tell all of the work he's done. He's never missed a day of fighting for the American family. I don't know if I've ever met a man who is more interested in this country and running his country and getting it back in shape. And I'm so grateful for what he does every single day. I can't even pretend to understand the spiritual battles that swirl around the office of the presidency and the man who owns that office. I would ask that God breathe a fresh breath of air through this administration so that he can calm those spiritual battles and allow our president to continue to do the hard work. Jesus works on my family every day, still healing us today. And I am just so incredibly grateful for the man who's in office, who never quits. He is sidelined so many times, but we know the man, Jesus, who can take care of that. And we pray today in his name that he will sweep through this country and make it right again. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I just want to thank you. It's amazing. The words are so beautiful, so beautiful. I get introduced often, and I'm getting introduced by people. In many cases, they hate me. And they don't give me nice introductions like that. But all we're doing is the right thing. It's sort of simple, right? It's sort of simple, and but not simple for you. And that's when I was running, actually. That was before I won. I didn't know if I was going to win or not. I was running against 17 politicians. You knew. Yes. But no, I never forgot that. Jody Jones is a loving brother whose cherished sibling Rocky was killed by an illegal alien monster, real monster, who went on a deranged crime spree after being released from prison as part of a California sanctuary city policy. Jody, please come up. Thank you.
Well, I have this speech, but I'm not going to give it. What I'm going to tell you is from my heart. I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, first of all, before I do anything. I want to thank the American Border Story, and I absolutely want to thank President Donald J. Trump. Thank you, sir, for putting America first and putting these angel families first and letting everybody know their stories, because we matter. Thank you, sir. My brother Rocky Jones was murdered by a criminal illegal alien. He was simply at the wrong place at the wrong time. This man was arrested, released, and within 24 hours, he went on a shooting spree in Central California. Unfortunately, my brother was in the wrong place at the wrong time. This man shot my brother 8 times at point blank range. I pray that no other family has to go through that. Unfortunately, they will. And just know, President Trump, I want you to know, no matter what the fake media says about you, the American people love you, and we will support you all the time. We love you. I'm sick and tired of hearing these Democratic politicians stand up on these podiums and say how sorry they are for seeing these criminal illegal aliens being ripped apart from their families. What about us? What about the American family? What about us? We mean something too. And this man right here understands it. I was listening to Grandma Cook, and she said thank you to President Trump. And I love that lady. I don't even know her. I just heard her. I just got the fire inside of me. I'm like, wow, that's an American. I love America. I want you guys to understand this. Americans are not racist. We're not xenophobic because we want a safe America and we want to put Americans first. This man's not racist because he wants to put Americans first. Are you kidding me? I know you guys hear it all the time, but we are not. And I'm going to tell you something. I love America. I love Donald Trump. I love my family. And by gosh, I love America. Thank you very much, Donald Trump. President Trump, you are the man. I want to say this. I'm going to end here. I want to say this. I love my country. God bless you. God bless Donald Trump. And God bless America.
Thank you very much. It's incredible. I want to now introduce somebody that I get to know pretty well. We just had a little discussion. One of her mothers, Patty Morin, who lost her beautiful daughter, Rachel, and Tammy Nobles, who lost her daughter, Kayla. Your daughters would be unbelievably proud, and they are as they look down. I'm sure they're looking down. And they'd be very proud of you, and they're thanking you right now for your courage. You've gone through a lot. I know you. And I just have to recognize some of the families being there. The families that are here this morning, I know many of them, not all of them. And you know, it grows at a pretty strong level, nothing like it was in the past. You remember when, during the campaign, Biden would say, and then I guess Kamala's the same thing, same ideology, same level of intelligence, I think. But she would say, and he would say, no, it's wonderful to have the people come into our country. These are fine people, these are nice people, and they don't commit crime. And I called Tom home and I said, what's the story on that? Because I think they're really violent. And Tom would say, these are the most violent people in the world. They're coming in. These make I remember you said, these make our criminals look like choir boys. And you know what? You were right. You were right. But I want to thank those two people because what they went through. And I want to recognize all of the families here this morning have lost loved ones, a lot of families. Thousands are not here, and they're feeling just the way you do, sad. And continue to fight. You know, they say time helps, but I've seen some people, and the time isn't really not helping that much. Time, they say, it heals all wounds, but it's not. Do you feel better now or the same? You got to feel a little bit better. You got to let it, but it's not like the phrase, wonderful phrase, time heals, like everything's good. Excuse me?
We feel good that you're here.
Yeah, I know. We'll continue to fight though, and we'll stop this horrible situation, and we have stopped a lot of it. A big thing, you know, you saw that murders are down for the most in 125 years. This before my father was born in 1905. 5 years before my father was born. My father was great. But so in 1900, 125 years, the murders, the lowest rate. You know why? Because I closed the borders and we got a lot of people out. It's not just closing, we got a lot of people out. Washington DC is now a safe. We don't want to close the borders with them. We got a lot of them out and we got many of the worst ones out. Go for them first. But I want to conclude by reading part of a letter I received earlier this year from two heartbroken grandparents who will never again see their 8-year-old granddaughter after an illegal alien ran her over with his truck purposely. They wrote to me, "We are hurting so badly and now know that the hurting in our family will never go away. Never, ever will go away. We're not seeking notoriety. We don't care about press coverage, but we do want our girl to be remembered. We want people to actually know how preventable this murder was. And lastly, we want the American government to be accountable to its citizens. True, they should be accountable for what they did. That's my administration, and I will tell you, we're fighting so hard. All of them, everybody together is fighting. We're putting American citizens first. We're defending American lives. And we're fighting for every angel family. Angel families are beautiful families. They're beautiful families. That was my first, early on when we first met, that was my first, I didn't know about angel families. I never did this before, right? I was building buildings and things. But I said, I can't believe it. My first meeting, they were so angry at the press, at a mom who lost her daughter so violently. You might have been there. The first meeting, I said, this is strange. What's going on? It was anger from the fake news. But the angel families, I realized very early on, I never changed. I could see how you changed them. You have to go through this stuff. But never changed. I thought they were among the greatest people I've ever met. I've met the heads of countries. A lot of them aren't so nice, but they do have some power. And we've done very well with all of those people. But among the finest people I've ever met are the people in this room and many people outside of this room. I know many, many more than just in the room. But we restored our border, and it's now totally secure, and our country is at the safest level it's been in many, many years. How could anyone possibly say we want open borders, knowing, especially, let's say you did that because you're foolish or stupid or something, and you did it, but after a couple of weeks, you're going to know that the people coming here, if you're running a country, you want to send your bad people out. That was the way I looked at it. I didn't know anything about it. I ran for office, but I have a lot of sense. And I said, well, open borders no good because if I'm running the country nearby or far away, I had no idea how far away. They came from the Congo in Africa. They came from all of them, not just South America. Congo let vast numbers, hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of people out of jail. They brought them through Mexico and they dropped them into our country. But you would say that common sense, well, and I said it right from almost the first day. I said, how can you have an open border? All the countries are going to be dropping their prisoners into us. That's exactly what happened, and mental patients and others. So we have a country that's now doing well. We have the greatest economy we've ever had. We have the most activity we've ever had. I'm making a speech tomorrow night, and you'll be hearing me say that. It's going to be a long speech because we have so much to talk about. But Americans like Lakin and Grant and Javier, Joshua, Rocky, Rachel, Kayla, these are great people, and we're never going to forget them. I'll never forget them. I don't know how long I'll be around. Got a lot of people gunning for me, don't I? But I will not forget them. I'm never going to forget them. And I just think you're among the most brave people. I meet a lot of brave people. I meet warriors. They give out congressional medals of honor. People recommend, like these two in front of me are so wonderful, but they recommend, and I meet the greatest people. But this is a group of people that for whatever reason, I just feel maybe the warmest about it. So at least you have one friend, and we don't understand why you don't have many, and maybe you will. I don't know. So I'm going to go sign the proclamation, and then we're going to sit in the audience. I'm going to sit with you for the reading of the victims' names. And I'll then depart to a song sung by our incredible, talented military, Amazing Grace. Okay? Sound good? Now, we could have some of the families come up, some of the people come up, you know who you are. Come on, you can stand around. I don't use an auto pen, so you can watch me actually sign. We'll do this the right way. Do you have, I want to give coins to the family, okay? Could
I
I?
had one for you and I couldn't bring anything inside.
And the Secret Service, well, you'll get it to me. Hi, sweetie.
My name is Emma.
Oh, hi, Emma.
Very Carol.
Very good, beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready, Emma? We're going to sign this, okay? Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Emma.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You take care of yourself.
Oh,
You
thank
you can hold that. At least for a little while. before-
I'm not taking it.
Thank you. So let's do this candle lighting, and it's very beautiful. Please.
Oh, she's so fun.
I can't tell you. It's a-
We will now light a candle in honor of the victims in solidarity with their families. Following the lighting of the candle, the names of the victims will be read aloud so that their memory may be honored.
Katie Abraham. Chad Eystrup. Austin Babcock. Megan Elizabeth Ida Boz. Jesse Bird. Liam Cantu. Michael Clayton. Gail Clayton. Sander Cohen. Piers Corcoran. Ronald De Silva. Jackson Davis. Christopher James De Leon. Joseph Di Tomaso. Marshall Dova. Brady English. Shaylee Estes. Lacey Marie Ferguson. Maura Garrity. Tristan Gray. Kayla Hamilton. Aaron Joshua Hampton. Brady Hiling. Susan Hine. Haley Helgeson. Kyler Holbein. Gregory Hamala. Gabriel Kaleshi Isibuzo Jr. Rocky Paul Jones. Shane Jones. Stephanie Kaufman. Haley King. Amy Courtlang. Ryan White. Brian Moss. Robert Moken. Lisbeth Medina. Brandon Mendoza. Brandon Michael. Dominic Montoya. Jonathan Moody Jr. Ruben Morfin. Rachel Morin. Krisha Odette. Nikolay Osokin. Rocco Pitro. Lakin Riley. Grant Ronnebeck. Matthew Russell. Kayla Santiago. Danielle Nikki Shermock. Fred Schlosser. Tiara Stansberry. Kate Steinley. Joseph Story. Timmy Tarnowski. Brian Terry. Anya Bartholomew. Javier Vega Jr. Joshua Aaron Wilkerson. Carlos Wolf. Joseph Zhang Jr.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved and set me free, set me free. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. From many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already when we and thousand years, bright shining out of the sun, in endless days to sing God's praise. Then when we first did then when we first begun.
Thank you.
Hey you guys, that was may they rest in peace. That's really touching. You guys can let me know what you think about that. Let me get into what happened in Mar-a-Lago the other day. But may they rest in peace. Heather, right? Okay, hang on, you guys. I'm not sure what I did here. Yeah, Lawrence, I got you.
If you eat butter daily, this is what happens to your eyes. Take a look at these two retina scans. They both look sharp, focused, and healthy. But only one of them belongs to someone young. The
A 21-year-old man is dead after an armed intrusion at U.S. President Donald Trump's Florida estate. Authorities say the suspect drove through the gates in the early hours of the morning, armed with what appeared to be a shotgun. Now, questions are mounting about who he was and what his motive may have been. The man has been identified as 21-year-old Austin Tucker Martin of North Carolina. According to the United States Secret Service, Martin had been reported missing by his family just days earlier. An Associated Press report says officials confirmed he had recently traveled south from North Carolina. Investigators believe he obtained a shotgun during that journey. The box for the weapon has since been recovered. Authorities say Martin drove through the north gate of Mar-a-Lago around 1:30 a.m., slipping in as another vehicle exited. He was carrying what appeared to be a shotgun and a fuel can. Secret Service agents and a sheriff's deputy confronted him. They ordered him to drop his equipment. Officials say he put down the gas can, but then raised the shotgun into a shooting position. At that moment, officers opened fire to neutralize what they described as a threat. Trump ally Laura Loomer posted screenshots on social media attempting to identify the suspect. She questioned whether the missing 21-year-old was the same individual shot at Mar-a-Lago. Online users quickly began speculating about the circumstances of his disappearance and why federal authorities were notified early. Officials have not confirmed any of those claims. On Sunday afternoon, vehicles blocked the entrance to a property in Cameron, North Carolina, listed in public records as Martin's address, as authorities secured the area. His cousin reacted with disbelief, describing Martin as a quiet, reserved young man who avoided politics and was afraid of guns. He said he worked at a local golf course and regularly donated part of his paycheck to charity. He wouldn't even hurt an ant, Martin's cousin said, calling the situation mind-blowing and completely out of character. The Secret Service says Martin's psychological profile and possible motive are now under investigation. It remains unclear whether he intended to harm anyone inside the estate. Security at Mar-a-Lago has been tightened, and as investigators piece together the timeline, one question remains at the forefront. What drove a 21-year-old to breach one of the most heavily protected private properties in America?
1:30 this morning, the security detail detected that an individual had made his way into the inner perimeter of Mar-a-Lago. A deputy and 2 Secret Service agents on the detail went to that area to investigate. They confronted a white male that was carrying a gas can and a shotgun. He was ordered to drop those 2 pieces of equipment that he had with him, at which time he put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position. At that point in time, the deputy and the 2 Secret Service agents fired their weapons and neutralized the threat. He is deceased at the scene.
A chilling security breach has unfolded at President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. Shortly after 1:30 a.m., law enforcement confronted a young man in his 20s who approached the resort's north gate armed with a shotgun and a fuel can. Secret Service agents, joined by a deputy from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, acted swiftly. The man was shot and pronounced dead at the scene.
1:30 this morning, the security detail detected that an individual had made his way into the inner perimeter of Mar-a-Lago. A deputy and 2 Secret Service agents on the detail went to that area to investigate. They confronted a white male that was carrying a gas can and a shotgun. He was ordered to drop those 2 pieces of equipment that he had with him, at which time he put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position. At that point in time, the deputy and the 2 Secret Service agents fired their weapons and neutralized the threat. He is deceased at the scene. This is the picture that I'm going to give you of the shotgun and the gas can, so you got it with us. All right? So you'll have that. Like I said, there's a lot more investigation to be done. FBI is the lead agency. We'll be assisting them. And fortunately, nobody was in jeopardy inside because of the quick action that was taken by the deputies and the Secret Service.
At the time, President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump were in Washington, D.C., safe at the White House. No other individuals under Secret Service protection were at the Florida property during the incident.
We want to be clear, the President of the United States was not in the state of Florida. And this remains an active investigation by the FBI. Thank you.
Anthony Guglielmi, communications chief for the Secret Service, confirmed that the man's identity, motives, and background remain under investigation. The FBI, U.S. Secret Service, and Palm Beach County authorities are examining the events, including the use of force that ended the confrontation. Mar-a-Lago, a frequent weekend residence for Trump, has been the site of multiple security threats in recent years.
Take a look what happened.
In July 2024, a gunman opened fire during a campaign rally in Pennsylvania, wounding the then presidential candidate and killing an attendee. Just 2 months later, authorities arrested an armed man near Trump's West Palm Beach golf course in what officials described as another assassination attempt. Saturday night's deadly encounter underscores the ongoing threats facing the president and the high alert measures of the Secret Service. Officials have emphasized that the swift response prevented further danger and contained the threat before it could escalate. As the investigation continues, authorities are piecing together the details of the man's plan, his possible motive, and whether he acted alone, leaving the nation watching closely as law enforcement reviews every detail of the deadly encounter at one of America's most famous private residences.
Men over 60 should not be running, lifting, or crunching. There's a smarter way. It's called chair tai chi.
Make it a habit.
Housing migrants at U.S. DoD facilities like Fort Bliss in Texas.
Well, we're already housing at Guantanamo. Fort Bliss is being ramped up, so in the very near future. I don't have a timetable because things need to be done, construction needs to be done. We'll make sure facilities are ready to accept. We make facilities are able to care for the people. They're going to be detained. So I don't know the timeline right now. It changes every day because of various issues, but we're working on it.
Are you intending to hold families there, including families with American citizen children?
Family residential centers are for families. They're not jails. They're open air campers built for families, which means they have child psychologists, they have pediatricians. And why family residential centers? Because we want to make sure that child is with a parent. Unlike the last administration who stopped DNA testing, who many investigations of children being smuggled in the country with some that wasn't related to them claiming to be a parent. So we're going to make sure children are with parents. We're going to make sure that's actually a family and that child ain't being trafficked. That's the main reason.
Regarding the executive order on sanctuary cities, is the administration planning to pursue any more investigations or prosecutions like was done against the judge in Wisconsin against local officials?
Well, we'd have to defer you to the Department of Justice, obviously, for specific prosecutions or cases against individuals. But as I said in my remarks, the executive order the president will sign later this afternoon does direct the Attorney General and also Kristi Noem, our great Secretary of Homeland Security, to provide a list of sanctuary cities in which local officials are not complying with this federal order and are not complying with federal immigration laws. It's quite simple. Obey the law, respect the law, and don't obstruct federal immigration officials and law enforcement officials when they are simply trying to remove public safety threats from our nation's communities. The American public don't want illegal alien criminals in their communities. They made that quite clear on November 5th. And this administration is determined to enforce our nation's immigration laws. And we're happy to provide the text of that executive order. And as I said, the president will be signing it later this afternoon. Sure.
Excuse me. I want to talk about farm workers. The president said earlier this month that there could be leniency for some undocumented farm workers. I'm wondering, where do things stand with that? And I'm also wondering, does that at all undermine his message on immigration, that it's okay for some undocumented people to be in the U.S., but maybe not others?
So the president was referring to our H-1B and H-1A visa programs, and there have been no final decisions on that at all. But the president, I think, what he was intended to speak about, what he was speaking about, is ensuring that we have a clean, legal immigration system that is being respected and obeyed. And the mass amount of illegal immigration that we've seen over the past 4 years in our country completely undermines our legal immigration system, those seeking citizenship, but also those coming here on a visa to legally and lawfully work. And the president wants to make sure that those programs are respected. Reagan.
Thanks, Caroline. My question is for Tom. Tom Reagan-Reese with the Daily Caller. Over the weekend, ICE arrested 2 illegal immigrants for allegedly stealing Secretary Noem's purse over the weekend. What can you tell us about these individuals' immigration history as well as their criminal history?
I don't have the criminal history, but I know the one that stole the purse is supposedly in the country legally. But pick the wrong person, steal a purse from. I mean, Secretary Noem's a strong secretary. I know I've been talking about the success of men and women of the Border Patrol and ICE, but under her strong leadership, she's a game changer. So I'm happy to work with her, despite the media I've read that me and Christy Noem have differences. Me and Christy Noem are attached at the hip. There's no daylight between us. We're both going to push the president's agenda. She's a strong secretary, and I'm glad she's in here. And I'm glad, again, that illegal alien, pick the wrong person, steal a person. I'm telling you.
Mary Margaret, go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. I have two questions, one for Mr. Homan, one for you on the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I'd like to start with you, though, Tom Homan. This list has a very high number of sexual assaults on a child. Can you comment on that and why there's so many crimes against children committed by illegals in this country?
I don't know why. It's sick. It's the worst crime in the world when you sexually assault a child. I mean, the most innocent of us all. But that's why I made a statement that one time I was going to go to Boston, bring hell with me. And the media went crazy. At Tom Homan says, we're going to Boston, bring hell with them. I was going to bring hell to illegal aliens that rape children. There's not more of a heinous crime. And as you can see, the amount of child rapists we've arrested under this administration, that could have been arrested under Biden administration. They were out there. They had their final orders. They were out there, but they didn't go look for them. They were too busy releasing millions of illegal aliens in this country. And the numbers prove it. The removal numbers of criminals was the lowest. ICE had the lowest number of removals in the history of ICE under Joe. At the same time, you had historic illegal immigration on the border. ICE had the lowest numbers in the history of the agency. That shows the difference between two administrations. We're looking for every one of them. People want to know, okay, when am I going to retire for the third time? I'll retire when every public safety threat, national security threat, child rape is eradicated from this country. That's when I'll rest.
Thank you so much. And then Caroline, really quick. Alex Thompson said at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and I'm going to read his quote, President Biden's decline and its cover-up by the people around him is a reminder that every White House, regardless of the party, is capable of deception. We, myself included, miss a lot of this story, and some people trust us less because of it. Can you comment on those remarks and whether you agree with that assessment?
I do agree with that assessment from Alex Thompson, who I understand won an award for writing a story months and perhaps years after the American people already knew that story to be true. Millions of Americans watched our mentally incompetent president struggle with his day-to-day duties of this office. We watched our country be ran into the ground as a result, and nobody in the media wanted to write about that, talk about it. There were many reporters, I will say, right-leaning reporters who did talk about that, who didn't get awards, didn't get coverage. In fact, they were lambasted for their coverage. And I remember being on President Trump's campaign, talking about Joe Biden's clear mental incompetence and being accused by people in this room of manufacturing deep fake videos, trying to persuade the public into not believing what they saw with their own eyes for many years. And I think it's about time the legacy media finally admits that was one of the greatest cover-ups and scandals that ever took place in American history. And certainly it did contribute to the decline in the We've made many changes to this briefing room in this White House. It's long overdue. Peter, go ahead.
Thank you. A few things. You guys arrested a Milwaukee County circuit judge for allegedly helping illegal immigrants get away. As you guys look at other judges, would you ever arrest somebody higher up on the judicial food chain, like a federal judge or even a Supreme Court justice?
Well, that's a hypothetical question. Again, I defer you to the Department of Justice for individuals that they are looking at or individual cases. But let's be clear about what this judge did. She obstructed federal law enforcement who were looking for an illegal alien in her courthouse. She showed that illegal alien the door to evade law enforcement officials. That is a clear-cut case of obstruction. You don't have to be a lawyer to understand that. And so anyone who is breaking the law or obstructing federal law enforcement officials from doing their jobs is putting themselves at risk of being prosecuted. Absolutely.
You guys have at least 18 written trade proposals. We still don't know who they are from or what they contain. What is the holdup with that?
There's no holdup. We're working around the clock. The trade team is working all day. I was on the phone late last night with Secretary Lutnick. I was on the phone this weekend as well with Secretary Bessent. I mean, the entire team is working 24/7 to get these trade deals done. And I think you'll be hearing more about them this week. I don't want to get ahead of the trade team or the president in announcing potential deals, but certainly I can assure the American public that this administration is full speed ahead in cutting good and fair trade deals on behalf of the American worker.
And one more. After the president's Truth Social post, the Browns finally took Shadur Sanders. Does the president think he deserves credit for Sanders getting picked? And does he think going to the Browns is better than being undrafted?
Hey, I'm gonna. All I will say is the president put out a statement, and a few rounds later he was drafted. So I think the facts speak for themselves on that one, Peter. We'll go to the back row in the middle, to the blonde.
Yes.
Hello.
President Trump has said that Secretary Hegseth will get it together. Does he think that Hegseth doesn't have it together right now?
Look, the president has made his position on Secretary Hegseth quite clear. He absolutely has confidence in the secretary's ability to lead the Pentagon. It's why he nominated him for this position. It's why the Senate voted to confirm him in this position. And look at the success that DOD has had thus far. Their successful operation against the Houthi terrorists in the Middle East. You look at the recruitment and retention levels for all branches of our armed forces are on the incline, which is exactly what this president intended to do. Secretary Hegseth has completely wiped out DEI from the Pentagon as well. And so he's going to remain focused on standing up for our war fighters, on implementing President Trump's peace through strength foreign policy agenda abroad. And the president supports him in his role. Sure.
Many are wondering how these 10 or 20 million people are working. Is there some efforts to clamp down on employment because they're working somewhere to keep staying here?
The number of worksite enforcement actions have tripled this year, and it's going to triple again. Because in sanctuary jurisdictions especially, if we can't arrest a bad guy in the safety and security of a county jail, they're going to release them into the community. That means we go into the community. If we can't arrest them in the community, we'll arrest them at their work site. We got to do what we got to do to arrest public safety threats. There's no sanctuary for public safety threats in this country. So worksite enforcement is going to increase even more than it already has. And another reason for worksite, the last administration stopped worksites. Where's the number one place we find victims of trafficking, victims of forced labor trafficking and work sites? So not only are we going to enforce the law on work sites, we're going to save victims of trafficking. That's another reason we've increased worksite enforcement.
Well, go ahead, Brian. Sure. We'll take one more question.
This is for Mr. Holman. We all walk by these heinous yard signs that are along Pebble Beach. What is some of the feedback that your ICE agents are getting in the field from the community as they remove these individuals from their families, their neighborhood, their schools, or all the places in their community? What's been the reaction that your ICE agents have gotten from the people who live amongst these individuals?
The morale of ICE and the Border Patrol is at all-time high because they're getting to uphold the oath they took and they're enforcing the law. Border Patrol and the Biden administration, I met with hundreds of them. They felt like Uber drivers and tourist agents. These men and women joined the ranks of ICE and Border Patrol to enforce the law, make the community safer, and protect national security. I hear it all the time. There's a lot of people in this country who don't like me. I don't care. But when I walk through an airport, I have many people walking up to me and thank me for what I'm doing, and I'm not taking credit for anything. The success of the border and immigration enforcement is President Trump and the men and women wearing that uniform. God bless each and every one of them. But I take a pleasure in seeing it because in 40 years of doing this job, people always want to say, why are you so emotional when you testify? Why are you so emotional on network? Because if they wore my shoes for 40 years, they'd understand why I'm emotional. I've talked to little girls as young as 9 years old that were raped multiple times by the cartel members. And when you get to your knees and you talk to that little girl and everything innocent and pure has been ripped from her, when you listen to the Laken Riley, 17 minutes, that young lady fighting for her life, don't just think, okay, a young woman died. Think of how she died, the terror that she went through, and these children that are sexually assaulted. I stood in back of a tractor trailer and 19 dead people at my feet that baked to death. Illegal immigration is not a victimless crime. And so every sick person we take off the streets, especially child rapists, it makes this country much safer. Every illegal alien we arrest, public safety threat, one at a time, makes this country safer. But I got one thing I need to say real quick before I leave.
Take your notes from me, Tom.
Take my notes from me. I'm going to read it. God, I don't want any misinterpretation when I'm reading to you. The registration requirements under 8 U.S.C. 1302. If you're illegal alien in the United States, this message is for you. You cannot hide from ICE. We're actively looking for you. Federal law requires every alien in the United States who has been present in the United States more than 30 days needs to register. For those 14 years or older, you need to be fingerprinted with the Department of Homeland Security. Federal law requires every alien in the United States to tell DHS in writing if you have a change of address within 10 days of changing that address. Failing to register with DHS and failure to tell DHS about your new address are criminal offenses, and they're going to be treated as such. Starting today. Make no mistake, if you're in the country illegally and you fail to do what the law requires, we will prosecute you, you will go to jail, then we'll deport you. Second law, penalties for failure to depart, 8 U.S.C. 1253. If you're alien inside the United States who has a final order, this message is for you. If you have a final order, the Trump administration is committed to enforcing our immigration laws, especially for those aliens who have received final orders of deportation. There are currently around 1.4 million illegal aliens who've been ordered removed, but remain here in violation of the law. We will aggressively prosecute, consistent with longstanding law, those aliens for failing or refusing to depart, or who takes other related actions aimed at hindering their removal. You cannot open the door. You cannot answer our questions. You cannot open your car door. You consider it to evade law enforcement. If you fail to leave the United States after receiving a removal order, we can and will issue monetary fines up to $998 a day. Evading your arrest, knowing you have a final order or removal, is a criminal offense. We will prosecute, then we'll deport you. Get your affairs in order. If you're in the country illegally, work with ICE, go to CBP One Home app, and leave on your own. Because we have to find you, deport you, and prosecute you. You'll have a bar placed on you, and you won't come back to this country. You won't be able to come back on a visitor's visa, a tourist visa. If you have U.S. citizen child, can't petition for you. If you're in this country, well, you get your affairs in order and work with us and get yourself removed from this country. That's what law requires, and we're going to enforce that law.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tom. You can get back to work now. Look, he's already leaving. He's got a lot to do, a lot of illegal immigrants to deport. But thanks, everyone, for joining us bright and early this morning. As I said at the top, we will do this again tomorrow to talk about the economy, which is another promise made and kept by the president. And I'll be joined by the Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, 8:30 tomorrow morning. Today, the president is welcoming the Super Bowl champions, Philadelphia Eagles. If we have any Philly fans, that will be at 4 o'clock. And then the president will sign those executive orders I spoke of and a few others at 5 p.m. So we'll see you all later. Have a great day.
Hey guys, that was a lot. Let me look at y'all comments before I go. Eventually they'll come for everybody. What are you guys talking about with this $50,000? What are you guys talking? Hey Tetra. Don't live in America. What are you talking about? Apparently, we don't have freedom to voice our opinions amongst our fellow citizens. What are you guys talking about? Are we still friends? Are we still friends, you guys? I'm just looking at some of your comments before I get out of here. Time you violated. What are you guys talking about? The $50,000 donors talking about. Tom Homan is doing what Tom Homan does. But there's a lot that's going on, you guys. I spoke about. Apparently, if we voice our facts, it makes us racist. Antonio, who said that? This is your chat. You guys can speak about whatever you like. Okay? You see, I don't censor my chat. I don't even have mods. I don't have moderators. I spoke about Nancy Guthrie, praying for her. I did a stream about Nancy Guthrie earlier. We spoke about Donald Trump and what happened at Mar-a-Lago, and it's just a lot that's going on. Hey, Jerome, have a good night. Have a good night, Jerome, my friend. So, Apparently, people, you guys are talking about, no, you guys can speak about whatever you want to speak about. Like it or not, Sebastian says, like it or not, if you're an illegal immigrant and ICE has to come and deport you, you'll never make it back again. They're given the option to self-deport. I was watching a TikTok video and there's this guy, I can't think of his name right now, and he's been deported back to Mexico. And I was interested in what happens to them once they get to their native countries and what's life like. It was interesting. Apparently, we don't have a freedom to voice our opinions amongst our citizens. Huh. Good night, Jordan. Their purpose is to separate the country. There's no unity. Okay. I feel that there's unity in the country. It feels divided right now because of everything that's going on. But at the end of the day, putting America first is bringing unity. And you just have people fighting against it. But I'm praying that our country becomes more together. You see, if you look at my community wall, those of you that's new to me, look at my community wall. You can communicate with me through there. You can add your comments. You can voice your opinion, whether you agree with me or not. It's time that we put America first. I'm praying for unity, less racial division, things like that. The women's ice hockey team did not accept the invitation from Trump. I don't know anything about that. Good morning, Leroy. I don't know anything about that. Hola, James. Why would they accept the invitation? You guys just make this up as you go. You guys just make this up. So I love hearing from Caroline Levitt, Tom Homan. People, let me say this about Tom Homan. If you guys don't like Tom Homan, my issue is this. Oh, Biden used Homan, gave him a presidential award. Nobody said anything. But Donald Trump uses the same guy and people are in uproars about it. It's just a selective outrage. We all know that the former President Obama deported immigrants. What did y'all think about Obama's comment about the aliens being real? I think I did a post on my community wall. TDS, Miss Sanchez. You see what I'm saying? Donald Trump used oh my God. You can tell when I'm tired. Obama deported more immigrants than Donald Trump. He was praised for it. What's the difference? I almost feel as if when Donald Trump does something, people are just going to point the finger. Doesn't matter. Previous presidents have done it before. It's going to be, oh, look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump did this. Donald Trump did that. And let's face it, for the next 3 years, we have Donald Trump in office. We share the same president. How about Newsom dropping out of the race? He knows he's going to. Did Newsom drop out of the race? Did he officially run yet? Did you guys see on my community wall? I spoke about Newsom saying that he can hardly read. He's dyslexic. He has a low SAT score, so now he can relate to Black people. But people want to call Donald Trump racist. Donald Trump also is not targeting criminals. Stay awake. Obama is the Obama wasn't having Americans. Neither is Donald Trump. It's not Donald Trump's fault that people want to interfere with investigations. You can't blame everything on Donald Trump, Remy King. You can't blame everything on him. What is my dog? What is that? Stop. Donald Trump makes big strides with the does expose effective Barack Obama's below average president. I'm just here to have a conversation. Racist post of Obama apology needed. Biden shouldn't have invited them. Alan, are you talking about the post with Michelle and Obama that the staffer did? I thought that was already spoken about. Did you not see the photo he posted about the Obamas? It was pretty racist. Donald Trump didn't post it. Now, if Donald Trump would have posted it, I would be the first to call it out. Donald Trump's staff posted it, and we spoke about it. I did, I think, 2 live streams on it. It was distasteful, but can I call it racist? I can call the post racist, but I'm not going to call Donald Trump racist. I think that that photo was bad taste, and he needs to deal with his staff. and make sure that stuff doesn't happen again. I do not think that Donald Trump will put that photo out right before midterm elections. I just don't buy that. You said he didn't. I'm wrong? Okay, okay. If I am, then put it under my videos and I'll be glad to correct it. Wentworth Road, he did not tell him to post it. And if you think that I was gonna subscribe, but you're asleep, I don't fight for subscribers awake. Did you once hear me tell anybody to subscribe? I don't fight for subscribers. I look for like-minded people. So if you didn't subscribe, there's a reason. You don't hear me crying about it. Just saying. Where are you from? Cali. How did his staffer get his own phone in the middle of the night? I'm not even going to argue that point. I wasn't there. I'm just telling you what was said, Mr. Predgate. I'm telling you what was there. Again, I'm not trying to push Donald Trump on you. Good morning, Joy. How are you? I'm not trying to persuade you guys on anything that happens. What I do is I play the clip for you guys. I let you watch it. I let you judge yourself. I don't censor anything. So you don't need to know my opinions on things. What was said is that the staff put it out there. I can't go with this Donald Trump being racist thing. I'm not quick to pull the race card. Donald Trump has given the most money to HBCUs. He's done a lot for Americans, including blacks. Blacks are American. So I'm not going to throw the race card around you guys. I thought you guys didn't. Everybody wants to talk about race. I remember a few elections ago, anytime somebody brought up the color of somebody's skin, he said, you're then all we hear about is race. I don't like to have those conversations over here. Apologize to women he called Ed Piggy. Marcy, I'm trying to educate you. I'm listening to you awake. MAGAs are denser. I'm not MAGA. I'm not going to judge anybody, but I don't hear any MAGAs calling the Democrats dense. So I feel that when you can't win an argument with your words, then you go to name calling, because I didn't hear anybody from the Republican Party criticizing the political left. I didn't hear that. If you hate America, why not leave with the illegals? Mercy. Lies. He cut the funding to HBCU. He did not. What do I have to lie about? Not all conservatives are MAGA. I'm a conservative, but I'm not MAGA. I'm not MAGA, but I'm a conservative. I support the Constitution, traditional values, and I'm tired of the race card being used. Conservatives aren't racist. That was the video I was going to play for you guys. I guess I have to play it tomorrow. That was the video I was going to play for you guys. There was a whole beautiful stream about Republicans. Now, there's good and bad in both parties. You always have a bad apple. But as a whole, I'm tired of Republicans getting called racist, fascist, Nazis. I'm tired of it. Stop. You guys are making this stuff up. Good night, Jordan. Are we still friends, Claude? I agree with Trump. Donald Trump is doing a lot, you guys. I'm interested in what's happening with Maduro. We got a lot of trials going on right now. I almost played you guys an old stream from Erica Kirk, but I said, you know what? That's going to be too much. Right now, Erica Kirk is in the middle of all this controversy. Unfortunately, she shouldn't be. I held that thought tonight. Are the protesters that got arrested now can't vote because they're felons? They'll interfere with investigations. I wouldn't say they're felons, but if you catch a felony charge, okay. I don't think it's ever a good idea to interfere with federal investigations. If I go to Mexico because I decide I want to live there, and I got to be careful with the stuff that I say because of my channel. If I go to Mexico and just decide to crash the party, are they going to let me stay, or am I going to get arrested, have to pay a hefty fine, likely to get back to my family? Anybody going to protest for me over there? No, absolutely not. I find it appalling that people will insist on coming here any kind of way only to throw a temper tantrum when they find out they broke the law and there's consequences for breaking the law. Now, I don't like to see families separated, okay? I have a huge heart. But if I were to get into a DUI accident tomorrow, will I not be separated from my family? Or will they say, you know what? they're going to send me to jail. They're not going to say I have kids at home. They're not going to say, oh my goodness, what about your family? No, if I break the law, I'm going to go to jail. And I know that. And if I decide to go out and drink, if I decide to do that, then it's up to me. I brought that on myself. There's consequences to the things that we do. Now, they're giving people the opportunity to self-deport. It's just a really tense situation right now. But there's a process to come into the country, and entering the country illegally is not a victimless crime that they're trying to make it seem like. I was that last video, I didn't really plan to play it. It came up and I said, hey, this is a good stream. Let me play it. Caroline Levitt and Tom Holman. I didn't make that speech up. They're telling you what's going on in this country, and whether we fight against it, whether we protest against it, it's still going to happen. It's going to happen. You're not going to win that fight. You're delusional. Mercy. Are you trying to get noticed? I could do a lot of other things to get noticed. Gary Gilmore, are you trying to did you just want to join the conversation? Is that the best you could do? You'll get separated just for your color. I'm a Black conservative, right? My dog is tearing up my house. My poodle. Deported where? I was born here. And if I wasn't born here, I would like to think that if I wanted to be a part of the United States, that I would go through the process to become a legal citizen here. That's what I think. I joined the military because I love the country. And I have a lot of pride when it comes to this country. There's nothing wrong with being proud of who you are, where you're from, whatever you're like. I don't care if you're white, be proud of being white. I don't care if you're Black, be proud of being Black. I really get tired of all the censoring and the culture, the cancel culture. Be proud of who you are. I get a lot of that from the Trump administration. I feel like a lot of people that feel that they couldn't speak out before are speaking out. Some of it's extreme, and I'm like, whoa, okay, like some of it's extreme. But for the most part, people just want to be heard, and people want to be themselves, and they want to be comfortable with who they are. They don't want to feel like a bad person. I stopped looking at the chat because y'all tearing me up in the chat. They don't want to feel like a bad person. Dakota says, if you get arrested for a DUI, you guys can always ask for a link and come up and chat with me. Okay? You will go to jail, but you know you would get bail released and go home. But my point was being separated from my family for that time. If you self-deport and you go home, then you can come back. But that's a touchy situation. Again, I'm not blind to the feelings that is coming from the political left. Unlike the people that's in my chat that's from the left, I can stay respectful. And I see where you guys are coming from. That's why I play clips from both sides. I play the Democrat side, I play the Republican side. And liberals, I don't know what to tell you. But I usually play both sides. And I let you guys think for yourselves, you know. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to be conservative. I'm going to stay conservative. I'm going to die conservative. This is who I am. And you just have to accept me for I am, or just whatever. It's just a conversation. I know what I believe. I know what's best for the country. I know what I fought for, and I know why people voted for Donald Trump. Donald Trump spoke on protecting the borders, and despite what people are saying in my chat, despite what you guys are seeing on the news, majority of the people voted for Donald Trump because that's what they wanted. That's a fact. That's what they wanted. The numbers don't lie. The polls didn't lie. Statistics didn't lie. But you want to know who lies? Mainstream media. Because they're going to paint a picture of Donald Trump causing all this chaos. He's not the one causing chaos. The ones that's causing chaos are the ones that's out there being paid to protest, agitate people, and to stir up all of this mayhem. Because that's not the real story. That's what they're trying to show you. You play both sides, yes, Timothy. I am not biased. I play I have I have both sides of my chat. I have a nonpartisan chat. Obviously, speaking to me for a few minutes, you may have an idea of where I stand, but that doesn't mean you're not welcome in my chat. You're not. She says nothing I haven't heard on Fox News. misunderstood, tell it. Lawrence, I know that some of you in the chat are mad at me, and some of you understand because you feel the same way. I prefer to have a civil conversation with you guys, and instead of all the name calling me delusional and things like that, that's just going on deaf ears. Why not use your words and say what you don't like? Because I don't think I said anything wrong. I said Donald Trump is the president. That's a fact. That's not that's not up for debate. He's the commander in chief. That's a fact. Tom Homan is the borders are. That's a fact. Didn't lie about that. So I'm not really sure where the misunderstanding is coming in. I didn't say anything that I haven't showed you guys tonight. I just talked about what was happening in the United States. That is what's happening in the United States. I talked about Maduro a little bit. We know that Donald Trump had Maduro brought over here for the crimes that Venezuela was committing against the United States. I didn't make that up. That's what's happening in the United States. So those are the things that I talk about. What color are you? I'm red, white, and blue. You're lying about how he cares about people. I said he cares about the United States. And that what he's doing is for people in the United States as a whole, Cheryl. I wouldn't go extreme and call that a lie. I wouldn't call that a lie. What part did I lie about exactly? Because that's very, very broad. Hey, Ray Martinez. I said that people are tired. Are they not tired? You sound tired in the chat. The U.S. is about the Constitution. I'm for the Constitution, 100%. People are tired. People are tired of not being able to speak their mind. People are tired of having to be censored. People are tired of having to be feeling ashamed of who they are as if they speak their mind. I saw it in the chat. The people are going to call them racist. People are going to say that it's hate speech and all these things if you say things like, I'm traditional. I like traditional marriage. I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of where I come from, my family. I think that people are tired of feeling guilty about a lot of things. Obviously, there's tension. There's racial tension in the United States. But you want to know something? I met a lot of good people, all shades. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter if you're wealthy. It doesn't matter if you're poor. I don't feel that anybody should be demonized just for what they have. Now, Donald Trump did a lot that I'm not going to get into tonight. If he says things like, you know what, people are going to get off food stamps. You know what? I was thinking that a long time ago. If you want to eat, you better work. It's supposed to be a stepping stone, like a tool that will get you to the next level. But what it's not supposed to do is cripple you, and damn sure can't cripple the economy. I feel that a lot of things Donald Trump did was just time. It was just time. And it gives you like a sense of pride. I know that for me, I choose to take care of my family. It gives me a sense of pride to take care of my family. I want everybody to do that. Everybody, unless they are physically incapable of doing that. America doesn't owe you anything. As far as that goes, we're supposed to do for our country, right? That means that we got to work. We got to work. We have to make good decisions. Those are just the basics. And I feel that when Donald Trump was elected, he's ruining the middle class. How? The middle class is here. When Donald Trump was elected, a lot of people was just tired and they saw where this country was going. The moment people started fighting for men playing in women's sports, I said, you know what? We're in trouble. We're in trouble. That's just the very basics of things. Now, I'm not here to throw my ideas on you. That's why I prefer to play my clips and let you think for yourself. But if you ask me, I'm going to say that Donald Trump is doing what Donald Trump was put in office to do. And if people don't like it, then you have to be upset with the majority, because majority of the people, there has not been a Republican president that have won the popular vote in over 20 years. What does that tell you? Not only that, but he won all swing states. I got to see him in Coachella. Okay, I got to go to the rally in Coachella, but I also go to the No King protest. I like to hear what other people are saying, and I like to talk to the people. And so I'm not telling you things that's going to hurt your feelings. I'm telling you what happened. So you're not going to tell me that people are like, man, I hate Donald Trump, but they ran out to vote for him. And some people are disappointed. But unlike what mainstream media is trying to tell you, majority people were not and are not disappointed. And I can tell you, go to any conservative chat, you go to any place where they're not going to censor you, and you're going to see how much support Donald Trump really has. I saw it in person at the rally in Coachella. I saw it in person. Trump 2028, Lawrence. Musk alone received around, okay, I'm not sure what I'm talking about. Few people actually know what he's doing for us. I try to talk about it. I try. Vance, 2028. Midterm elections are going to be important. Conservatives, go out there and vote. Go out there and vote. Use your voice. We know how important it is. Right now, Republicans do have a majority in Congress. I don't know if it's going to stay that way. Maybe some people are going to believe the hype and all the propaganda that's said about the political right. So it's really important that you go out there and vote. Now, I lost a lot of friends. I'm going to just tell you guys this really personal, right? I lost a lot of friends. Some people in my family turned on me because I never used to publicly say that I was Republican, right? I used to just go about my business. What happened was I went onto a platform and I started talking about, I was invited. And the moment they saw that I was Republican, I got kicked off the panels. I saw all these lies told about the political left. So I said, you know what? I'm going to have to switch up my commentary and start. I needed a space to where conservative thinkers could come here. Not anybody's welcome, but if you're a Republican, if you're conservative, then I love the fact that we have a space where you're not going to get censored here. As long as it's not racist, as long as it's not putting down a group of people, that's from the right or the left. Listen, that's not tolerated. Anything else is welcome. You guys can speak your mind. You can disagree with me, but you're not going to get kicked out of here. The way that I was treated in these spaces, that's not going to happen to you here. Okay? You're a smart user. My mods are not going to censor you. And sometimes they get mad at you. They get mad. But they're not going to censor you. Normal people don't hate Trump. Lefties, you guys double tap the screen for me. Thank you guys for supporting the chat. Thank you guys that grab your memberships. Thank you guys that support my commentary, because YouTube don't want to monetize these videos. They don't want to monetize my videos about Trump. And it's okay. It's okay. Normal people don't hate Trump. Lefties, people who want power and control over hate Trump. You're beautiful. Thank you, Big Poppy. I appreciate you. Ready Forever says she's just parenting the same crap. No, I'm not parenting things. I'm telling you guys things that's happening in the world. But there's other things that I care about. I care about what's happening with Nancy Guthrie. I care about the Reiner trial. Y'all know what happened with Reiner and his parents. That trial, I believe he pleaded not guilty. That's sad. There's a lot of things that's happening in this world that I care about. And I don't care about all the noise around me and all the nonsense. I feel that people want to protect their families. I feel that people want to have a sense of pride and want to feel that it's okay to be American, it's okay to speak their mind. There's a lot of things that people want back. And we darn sure want protected borders. And no matter how many times, there's no country where you could just lily-dally, you can walk over there anywhere that you want. You know why? Because they care about national security. So why shouldn't America care about national security too? We want to keep our kids safe. We want to keep our families safe, our women safe. Like, we want to be safe here. We don't want to think that, oh, you can just come here and do whatever the heck you want. You can traffic whatever drugs you want into our country. Donald Trump took a hard stance against the drug cartels. And you want to know something? It's about time somebody did, because you're profiting off of the United States and the American people. And it's just time that we have pride in our own country. Because I can't go over to China and be that you're going to know that they are Chinese. So why can't we be proud to be American, whether you're white and whether you're black? You guys, go on my community wall, participate in the conversations, and we can talk about it. Are we still friends? Are we still friends? Mercy. All right, you guys, America. Open borders have consequences. They absolutely do, Walter. They have consequences. And I'll have to do a stream once. And we just have to talk about these consequences and what happens. And instead of people getting so it's going to be emotional. I have friends that, unfortunately, well, okay, they weren't friends, but I knew people that had people get sent back. And I have a job where I can't express my political beliefs at all. I'll lose my career. But why should it be that way? Why is it okay to say that you're Democrat, but you can lose your job if you say you're Republican? You can lose your job if you say that you support Donald Trump? To me, there's something wrong there. You're telling me that freedom of speech only is for the left? Am I making sense? If I'm not making sense, you guys, if any of you understand me, you put a 1 in the chat. I'm probably by myself with these thoughts, but I find it very biased. I live in a very liberal state. I can't say I can't wear a Trump shirt. I won't anymore. I did one time and y'all tore me up in the chat. Won't do it again. I can't put on a Donald Trump shirt. I won't anyway. But I can wear Obama. I can wear Obama. Hey, Joy. Dr. Manhattan, where'd you come from? Dr. Manhattan is so much better when I play my clip and don't speak. I don't know. That's funny. I just jumped in. You're not alone. Okay. Thank you. I feel better. But I lost a lot of friends and people in my family, and it's okay. Jesse. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you. You shouldn't get put down or criticized. Well, people have the right to criticize you. What do they say? Oh, I only have to say the president's name. What president said that if I don't vote for him, that I'm not black? That's nonsense. That is nonsense. You know, blacks used to be Republican. We used to be Republican. Majority. Blacks were in office along with whites, and we were part of the Republican Party. The Republican Party has fought for civil rights. They fought for the rights of black people. And those are the things that people don't like to talk about. What did the Democratic Party do? What did they support? I'm not going to tell you right now on the stream because that's not the title of my conversation. And actually, I got very far from my title. But and I'm not here to demonize the political left at all. All right, there's wonderful people on the left, but I think it's wrong to demonize people just because they vote conservative. Yeah, my daughter is a liberal, and it's kind of tough. It is tough. Mine is too. Blacks couldn't vote. Blacks could vote before white women show. What are you talking about? Blacks could vote. They were in office. Women couldn't vote, but black men had the right to vote before white women. So I don't know. I don't have a history book here for you, but thank you, Lawrence. But that's not what I'm talking about, Cheryl. Respectfully, Jim Crow was Dim's bill. Yes, it was, and the Republicans fought against it. Whites died. You know what? When we talk about the Civil War and stuff like that, it would be nice to talk about the whites that gave their life alongside black people. Both sides died for civil. I'm not talking about right versus left. The Republicans fought for the civil rights of blacks, and white people died along with their family fighting for rights of other people. And I would like to see movies made that show that as well. There's some, but the Republican Party fought for the rights of black people. So that's obviously going to be the party that I stand on and I stand with. The left supports pseudoscience. Stand up for the one time. Roland, excuse me? Stand up for the one time. I can quickly escort you out of here. Blacks couldn't use the same bathrooms as white. Show that you're right. You're saying facts. You're right. It wasn't really where I was going with the conversation. I was kind of talking about the Republican thing, but I get what you're saying. You're right. We're all family. I have no hate for conservatives. Some of my best friends. I'm not blindly supportive of Dems. There are plenty who are far too extreme. I don't like extremes on either sides, and I'll call that out. So we're there, Mr. Predgate. We're there. All right, you guys. Yes, not many movies that show the truth. That's right. There's not a lot that shows the truth. Delete it just in case that was perverted. Yeah, delete any of them. You can even block them for a little, not forever, but you could time them out. I don't entertain that kind of stuff, guys. You gotta be respectful in the chat. It's really hard to come up here and speak when there's so many people that's against what's happening, that's against the truth, that want to censor you because you're not making them feel good with your speech. I'm not trying to cause enemies or cause hate. I'm just trying to talking to you guys and breaking some things down for you and telling you that there's some things, there's a lot of fear mongering going on. A lot of, oh, Donald Trump's going to do this. Oh, the Republicans are taking this away. Nothing's been taken away. People are still living and eating, and we live in the greatest country. Nothing's been taken away. There's been changes, and change isn't comfortable because it requires us to change. And we like things that are the same, but sometimes things that are the same isn't the best. And that's something to say about that. Haters. Don't be deceived. Jesus is the way. I believe that. Trump is the best. All right, you guys, I'm going to lay it down. I've been here for 2 hours. I try to keep my streams around 2 hours. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Doc, I hope you're enjoying your mom. Uncle Claude, thank you for hanging out with me. Trump is the best. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for your cash apps, your donations, and for your memberships. I appreciate you guys. If you don't believe what came out of his own mouth, Lawrence, yeah, she's being. Is that my cousin in chat? Oh, okay. I don't know what was happening there. It's disappointing how extremes on both sides have taken over. I feel that's a good stream for another day. Predgate. I agree with you, but they're not the norm. I feel that some people are extreme, but when you look at them, they don't have the highest educational level. And some of them are just doing it for the social media attention. When you see people that are really extreme, or they just want attention and clout. No, I'm just simple. Traditional values, less government involvement in our life. Okay, we got right now. There's a lot of government involvement because of the borders. That's my cue. I'm gonna run. Good night, Sebastian. Just found you sub. Thank you, independent thinker. Hope to talk soon. Thank you so much for the sub. I'm trying to enjoy, but stuff is messing up. Oh, Dr. Manhattan, enjoy. All right, you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm praying for the country, and I'm praying for all of you. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you for hanging out with me. Talk soon.